Senate is considering a bill to establish the National Livestock Database for the purpose of livestock identification, cattle rustling control, registration, and livestock disease control. An act to establish the bill passed through second reading during legislation at the upper chamber on Tuesday. The bill, which is sponsored by Senator Mohammed Bima Enage, is aimed at sanitizing the livestock industry and addressing the persistent farmers' headers clashes as well as cattle rustling in the country. Senator Enagi, while addressing the House, said the proposed legislation will greatly enhance the development of the country's livestock industry. The Bureau, when established, will ensure the traceability of animal products into the country in order to safeguard the lives of citizens. And despite the ban on open grazing 3 months ago in Abuja, cattle movement in the city centers of the nation's capital has continued unabated. Our correspondent in this report took out time to find out why headers are not bothered despite attempts by the authorities to restrict their movements.
The problem of open grazing in Abuja, the nation's capital, appears to be neglected by the FCT administration, despite several agitations from most Nigerians. Cattle rearers in the nation's seat of power are now mostly seen, especially in the city center, and the government seem to have turned a blind eye, overlooking and pretending not to notice the havoc these cattle breeders cause. Despite the concerns raised by residents, the director of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, AEPB, insists arrests are being made, but it appears not to be yielding the desired results.
They carry up to sometimes 20, 30 cows. Not arrest all the 30. So the law is that we should arrest one, maximum of two. So if you arrest one or two, they will follow off. Because if Fulani doesn't, he's prepared to lose his son than losing a cow. So by the time you take that cow, he will definitely follow you to anywhere you are. So that is why we have now started arresting them. I've told you to go to my office in Area 3 and check. You will see some of the cows that we have started. So we have started.
Chairman of the Mieti Yala Cattle Breeders Association in Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, said the national security threat, sparking ethnic tension, has left them with no alternative but to graze in a safe environment.
We also pleaded to the government just to assist us because we are just hiding because of the security challenge. Okay. If you go to the bush, you, the owner of the cow, or the cow by itself, they will kidnap you or they will kill you, they will take the cow away. You will not even provide anything inside the bush. The grazing reserve in Wasa, some in Paikonko, some in Vari, from these three areas, when I made sure they are not comfortable for us because of some farmers was even claiming that is their place.
However, many Nigerians have condemned any possible reasons why herders should graze in the city center. Some said their movement is unacceptable and implored necessary authorities to take actions to ensure the restriction of open grazing in Abuja.
Cattle rearing is a business. The Fulanis that are doing cattle rearing is their business. So they have to allow them to do their business. Because this thing that's happening, I don't like it. Fulani is a tribe. They are very hardworking. They are even my village. My father brought them in Uguta. So those herdsmen, they are businessmen. They should allow their car, if their car is passing on the road, people should have endurance. They should allow their cow to pass. Give them chance. Because everything we are doing today, sometimes some of this, what is happening to Fulanis, I see it as a hatred. People hate them, either because of their business or their religion. But they are very good because most of those attacking those Fulani, they are those that benefit from the Muslim government. Don't hate somebody because of his religion or his tribe. Nobody is perfect in this world. It's only Allah.
It's not right because this is not where bush are. Because they take it and crossing the road. If you find this way, there's nowhere a cow can gaze on. There's no glasses for them to eat. So I just wonder what they are looking for. At the time you see the main road, they fill it up with excretors. So they are shit everywhere. And at times they drag with motors, passerbyers and others. So to me, it's not really right at all. So my advice for governments, maybe they should look for a grazing reserve area for them. They should look for a specific area where they will be. Or they used to be in the bush. Let them stick to that bush, not coming to the town to mess everything up with their excretors and where there's no leaf here for them to eat.
In Nigeria, the issue of open grazing has oftentimes become a menace that is so difficult to comprehend. On several occasions, motorists and passerby in several states complain about how these cattle defecate openly. No apologies given. Samuel Bello, reporting for Clearview Television.
The Senate has approved the sums of 1.5 billion US dollars and 995 million euros external loans for the federal and state governments. The Red Chambers gave the approval after considering the report of its Committee on Local and Foreign Debts on the external borrowing plan of the federal government. Chairman of the committee, Clifford Odia, told the lawmakers that the panel had considered the loan request and was recommending its approval. The 995 million euro loan is meant for agricultural mechanization across the 774 LGAs, while the $1.5 billion loan will be used to fund critical infrastructure in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The loan is to be facilitated by the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, African Development Group Bank, AFDB, and Export-Import Bank of Brazil. The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, says it is developing a new strategic roadmap that will drive the nation's industrial growth. The Director General of the agency, Kashifu Abdullahi, told the news conference in Abuja that the new roadmap will hasten the realization of Nigeria's quest for a digital economy to meet current realities. He further explained that the strategic ICT roadmap is critical to sustaining the gains so far made in the growing economy.
Doubt that there were a lot of achievements recorded by the agency since its establishment. These achievements include huge ICT contribution to GDP from less than 0.5% in 2001 to more than 14% today,
while throwing more light on how the ICT sector can be galvanized to achieve more job creation, digital inclusion, and literacy in the country. The NITDA Director General also said the legal framework is being developed to encourage investment inflows within the sector.
Now we are witnessing the emergence of new economic sectors like fintech, e-commerce, venture capital, investment, business process outsourcing, data protection compliance organization, IT equipment manufacturing, and robust software industry.
Nigeria is keen into the ICT sector to fully harness the gains of a full digital economy, which promises to change the fortunes of the country in all sectors. And the dust is yet to settle over the controversy on the 60 billion naira printed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to supplement the federal allocation to the three tiers of government for the month of March this year. The State Governor Godwin Obaseki stirred the controversy, which was first refuted by both the Finance Minister and the CBN Governor before they made U-turn to admit to the claim, but gave reasons which are yet to go down with some Nigerians. The lead director, Center for Social Justice, Eze Onyekbere, a lawyer with specialty in fiscal governance, human rights, and constitutional reforms, has joined other Nigerians, including civil society organizations, to call for more transparency in the conduct of government business. Clearview TV's Ni Marayesa, who has been monitoring the development, has an update.
It's no longer news that Nigeria is facing economic challenges despite the report that Nigeria has successfully exited recession the second time within 5 years. Recently, the Edo State governor said the government had to print 60 billion naira to supplement the allocation to the three tiers of government for the month of March.
We are in trouble. Huge financial trouble. Oh, we got back for March. The federal government printed an additional 50 to 60 billion to top up for us to share.
The finance minister responded that it was not true that the government printed money.
The issue that has been raised by the Edo State governor for me is very, very sad because it is not a fact. What we distribute at fact is a revenue that is generated, and the fact distribution revenue is a public information. We publish it.
Also coming to the defense of the government, the central bank governor said it was the responsibility of the central bank to come to the rescue of a distressed economy.
For us to begin to see that some people playing some games, trying to come up with overheating this polity, talking about printing of money, I think is very unfortunate and totally inappropriate. And I would like to advise that this should stop. We should all work for the growth of our country and not playing politics.
A coalition of civil society organization led by Bassett Etok Williams this Wednesday in Abuja said the central bank is right in coming to the aid of the government, but they refused to answer questions from journalists at the press conference.
There was no single evidence that the match allocation was borrowed. Is contradicted the claim of those saying match allocation money was printed. We did not need such distraction at this time when the country is facing much insecurity and hunger in the land. We need patriotic interventions, and we equally expect progressive contributions towards developing and governing the Nigerian polity. We salute the courage of the CBN governor for rising to the occasion and quickly correcting the wrong notion being expressed by the naysayers. We hope that this matter has been put to rest by that singular and sincere patriotic disposition and effort of the CBN governor. And we implore the state governors to pay back the debt being borrowed.
Clearview TV interviewed the lead director, Center for Social Justice, Eze Oyekwere, on his opinion on the controversial issue. He said the government is not in control of the economy. He stressed that the earlier the government admits, the better.
You recall that the last CPI report by the Bureau of Statistics, inflation, 18.17%. And when you begin to print money not backed by value, you are also contributing to the inflationary trend, because this money is not backed by value. You are simply minting notes, which is different from money which you raise as taxes, different from money you obtain by selling crude oil or any other exports that the government takes the revenue. So that's part of the challenge. That's why Nigerians are not happy about what is happening.
He gave the solution to the issue.
How do we resolve the problem? They start first by cutting the excess fat, the bureaucracy, and all the outrageous perks of office and the corruption in the system. And then they move ahead to asking Nigerians to make a sacrifice, which will become more understandable by the point Nigerians have seen that they have shed themselves of that arrogance and gregarious stealing that goes on in the name of governance. Then it becomes much more easier for Nigerians to follow suit if there are sacrifices to be made.
The question Nigerians are asking is that will the Central Bank of Nigeria continue to print money at the slight opportunity? Neji Mara Yesa reports for Clearview Television.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested the former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari. Yari was arrested for alleged illegal financial dealings and misappropriation of funds. The former governor is being detained at the Sokoto office of the commission. EFCC spokesman Wilson Owujared, confirming the arrest, said Yari was interrogated for about 7 hours before he was detained in Sokoto. Some of the alleged financial infractions against Yari include the sum of $56,000 reportedly lodged in his account. The minority leader of the House of Representatives, Ndudi Lumelu, has joined calls for the removal or resignation of the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami. This is concerning the minister's past controversial comments suggesting religious extremism. The lawmaker this Wednesday raised the issue as a point of order, citing a breach of his privilege. He noted that the minister occupies a very sensitive position and the comments should not be overlooked. There has been overwhelming calls for the resignation or sack of the minister over his pro-Taliban comments. In reaction to this, the minister re-announced his radical comments, saying he now knows better, but despite this, Nigerians increasingly called for his sack or resignation. The kidnapped traditional ruler of Ilemosho in Ekiti State, David Oyewumi, has regained freedom after spending about 5 days in captivity. The monarch was kidnapped on April 16th at his palace after gunmen scaled the fence of the palace and released several gunshots before taking him to an unknown destination. Police Public Relations Officer Ekiti State Command Sunday Abutu confirmed the news of his release. He disclosed that the traditional ruler is currently receiving medical attention at a health facility within the state following the trauma he experienced at the hands of the kidnappers. That'll be all, but before we go, a look at our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has said that the demise of ex-Chadian President Idris Deby will surely create a big vacuum in the efforts to jointly confront Boko Haram terrorists and the Islamic State of West Africa province. Deby died of injuries while fighting rebels in the north of the Sahel country. The dust is yet to settle over the controversy on the 60 billion naira printed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The lead director, Center for Social Justice, Eze Oyepere, a lawyer with specialty in fiscal governance, human rights, and constitutional reforms, has joined other Nigerians to call for more transparency in the conduct of government business. We also told you that US President Joe Biden has said the conviction of a former white police officer, Derek Chauvin, in the killing of George Floyd can be a giant step forward in the march toward justice in America. Remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Clearview TV. Like us on Facebook at Clearview Television. Follow us on Instagram, Clearview TV_NG. You can follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online. I am Prudence Okona. Many thanks for joining us.